Hi everyone, I'm Riley. Myself and my colleague Rebecca Bennett are here from Toronto, Ontario on behalf of Avenza. It's my first NACIS, and I'm going to share a workflow today using one of our latest tools in MAPublisher. So that tool is the Vector Basemaps tool. We released this in July as part of our latest release of MAPublisher 11.2. The Vector Basemaps tool imports georeferenced and automatically styled vector data from the MapTiler server. And today I'm going to share a workflow that utilizes this tool to create a series of inset maps. So the workflow begins with a quick story about myself. When I'm not working from home, I love to get out into the backcountry of Algonquin Provincial Park. Algonquin Provincial Park is in the traditional territories of 10 Algonquin First Nations, and it is the oldest provincial park in Ontario. When I'm on my canoe trips out there, I use our Avenza Maps app to navigate, and something I love to do at the end of my trips is plot all of my photos so that I can see where I've been and plan my new trips. So today's workflow starts with those plotted photos. I've exported them to a KML that I've imported into Illustrator. I'll switch over to that now. So here are my points along with some OSM data. And then I have created an area layer here to define the area of interest for my first inset map. So we are going to start by duplicating this main map view. And I'm going to copy over that area to create an identical copy that I can then scale and reposition to use, if it will let me, as my inset frame. So there's my lovely frame. And now that we have a new map view, I'm going to use the Vector Basemaps tool to populate the inset. So the Vector Basemaps tool is on the data creation section of the MAPublisher toolbar in Illustrator. And the first thing that we need to do is define the area to import. So that can be done using the artboard method and specifying an area on the online map, where you just adjust these 4 pins. Or you can enter WGS84 coordinates for the lower left and upper right extents. And that will import Vector Basemaps in WGS84 pseudo-Mercator, which can then obviously be transformed to any desired coordinate system. Another way that we can define our area is to just use the extent of an existing map view. So we'll grab my newest one here, and this will transform our vector data on import to the map view's coordinate system. So in this case, NAD83, UTM zone 17. When we select our area, you can see that my zoom level was calculated. It'll be 15. And you can adjust that by plus or minus 1, and that'll just control what level of detail you're going to import. I'm going to include some text labels as well as some points of interest. And then the last option here is to choose from the basic built-in styling or to choose from any saved custom styles. So go with the basic. And once these layers are imported, they will be at the bottom of the Illustrator Layers panel. So I'll just take a moment to readjust my layer order in just a moment here. And now we can see them. Perfect. So there's our first inset map. It was super quick, and now we're ready to add any fine details. We are going to create one more inset map to show the park boundary. So I'm going to go back over to the map views panel. Oops, I keep doing that. I'm going to duplicate it one more time and bring over those photo points because I'd like to show them on that one as well. And once we've got our new map view, I'm going to import a GeoJSON of the park boundary. And I'll add it to my newest map view. And I created a map theme style sheet here to catch that GeoJSON name on import. So that's why it was styled automatically. And now I'll rescale and position this one. And I'll move my layers panel, and now we are ready to use Vector Basemaps once again to fill in the map view. I'll make sure my newest map view is selected, and we'll just go with all of the defaults here. And just like last time, I'll do a quick readjust of my layer order so that we can see everything. Should be good now. And I'll bring my photo points on top. All right. So now in a matter of a few minutes, we've created 2 inset maps of very different scales. They're fully styled and they're full of vector data that I can fully customize. So I did add a few polishing details to a separate map in the interest of time, but I would like to close out by showing you how the custom styling works for this tool. So going back to the Vector Basemaps, custom styling is in the Configure Vector Basemaps dialog. So here we have the option to choose from any map view containing Vector Basemaps layers, and then you have access to all of the basemap style sheets that we use. So if I pick one and edit it, I can access all of the visual properties as well as the rules, and you can create or delete any of the rules as well. When you've made edits to these style sheets, you can save them to a basemap style, and that can be applied on import or through this dialog to existing basemaps. So I'll show you a custom one. I'll just apply this night mode. And it'll take a moment. And there we have it. So I hope this gave you a good understanding of our newest tool. I worked very closely on it, so I'm excited to share it today. Yeah, if you have any questions about MAPublisher, please come find me, or Geographic Imager. I'd be happy to answer them. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you, Riley. We have several questions. We have time for several questions if anybody has things to ask. Okay.
Could you say a bit about the data source you're using versus OSM and versus other common sources, where it comes from, what's its provenance, and so on?
Yeah, so it comes from MapTiler, and the MapTiler server does use a long list of different sources. A lot of it is OSM data, but the attributes are slightly different than your typical OSM data. So we do have on our support center a link to the MapTiler server info where you can see all of the data sources. It also depends on the area you're importing as well, but it's a really long list of sources.
Nathaniel has a question for you.
Riley, thank you. So cool. Yeah, I played with this last week, and I did it on a really big area, and it took a very long time. Is there a max number of tiles that we can push on this thing?
There's not a max, no. It just depends. The zoom level and the number of tiles is calculated in kind of a tier system based on the area that you've selected and the level of detail.
And then could you talk real quick about that? Because I think you had a minus. You have like a minus scale and then a plus scale. Mm-hmm. Could you talk briefly about what goes into those numbers? Or like how that's calculated?
Yeah, as far as the actual calculation, that's kind of beyond my understanding of it. But it really just plays into the detail of what types of layers and data you're getting in. So, for example, points of interest come in at, I believe, zoom levels 14 and 15, and different text labels will come in at those zoom levels as well. So where you're at on that scale, maybe you want to pull it back and include a little bit less or a bit more than the area.
Cool, thanks.
Any more questions for Riley? Okay, cool. Thank you very much.
Thanks.